Today's lesson we focus on the New Testament reading from the book of Corinthians, and specifically chapter 13 and verse 13. And this is the letter by Paul to the church in Corinthians. And Paul reminds the church that, and now these three remain, these three: 1, faith; 2, hope; and 3, love. But he goes on to qualify and emphasize and talks about, but the greatest of them all is love. And when Paul was talking to the church in Corinthians, he had already planted the church there and had moved on with his ministry to plant other churches. And when he received the news that there were divisions and there were problems in the church of Corinthians, so Paul uses this triadic, because there are three of them: formula of faith and hope and love. And he goes on to say that love is not the only important thing. Rather, he says to us as Christians in the church, now not to the Corinthians, but us Christians of St. Joseph Arimathea, us, the church of Christ, that we need to be people, we need to be Christians who cultivate these three virtues. When I was thinking about Paul's message, and I was thinking about the happenings of this week in this country, across, every corner of this country, and what was going on, and one of the things that came to mind was, these are exactly the three things that we are struggling with at the family level, and these are the three things that we are struggling with even at the country level. These are the three things we are struggling with, even as parents, even in our workplaces. Faith. Do we have faith in our government today? Do we have hope things are going to get better? Are we people who are practicing, who are loving other people? Do we experience the love? And yet the Bible reminds us we need to love as Christ loved the church. What about at the family level? What is it that is happening there? Do we see faith that things can get better and will get better at the family level? Is there hope? Or have we become a community, a population, have we become Christians who are low on hope, who are low on belief, who are low on even issues of trust? When we go through challenges, where is our faith? If we were to use a scale of 0 to 10 through the challenges that we are going through in life, how would you score? How would we even score the Kenyans' faith in their government today? How would we score hope for the Kenyans in their government today? I doubt it would be anything below, above 3. Because where we are right now, we are struggling. So Paul is reminding us that, yes, all these other attributes are important, but the most important attribute is that of faith, or is that of love. How much do we love in each other? How much love is there in our families? If you love someone, you won't hurt them. If you love someone, you're not going to speak ill of them. If you love someone, and even in the place of work where we work, if I go there every day at TUK and I am mind the well-being of the students, there's no way I'm not going to offer that service and offer it as a quality service. Do we think about the other person? Are we considerate? So what caused the divisions in the church of Corinthians? And I want us to keep thinking about the divisions and the problems, and let's base it at the family level. So when Paul was giving this message, it was his way of encouraging the church. And interesting, Corinth is at that time, was one of the major cities in the ancient world that had several temples, and that means there was also a lot of activity going on. In fact, it was considered as one of the huge economic religious centers in the Roman world at that time. So it was at the heart of Paul, if anything happened, if there was division and if there were problems in that church. And I want us now to think about our families. Our families are our heart. Yet we know for every successful, thriving health nation and society, it is because the families are thriving, it's because the families are surviving, it's because that nation is grounded on very, very strong family values. But the question is, what is happening there? And today, as Paul wrote to encourage the church in the Corinth, I pray that we are encouraged by his teaching. So when we talk about family and we want to talk about family wellness it means that every single individual in that family, irrespective of their age, irrespective of, all other attributes and valuables, every single individual in that family is healthy, they're functioning well in terms of their mental functioning, in terms of their physical functioning, in terms of their emotional functioning, in terms of their social functioning, in terms of their spiritual functioning. But I want you to take a minute and ask yourself, if I were to score my family today in terms of wellness, how would they score? Would it be a high 9? Would it be a 10 out of 10? Would it be a low 2 out of 10? How do we score as families in our functioning? And we need to ask ourselves, what about the quality of relationships? As we left to come to church this morning, who did we leave behind? Who did we tag along and bring to church with us today? How has been the morning up to this point? Are we talking about families that are moving in the same direction? Are we talking about families that are characterized with love? Or what kind of families are we talking about? What happened last night? What happened last week? What happened last month? Are we still a family that has faith? Are we still a family that has hope? That believe? Are we a family that encourage each other? Are we a family that comfort? So when you're looking at what are a few of the challenges or key challenges that families are faced with today that take away their sense of family wellness, number one is lack or poor communication. Are we talking at the family level? Who is talking? Who is listening? What are we saying? Are we talking to one another? Do we have the time to even talk? Are we listening? And when we listen, are we listening with empathy? The Gen Zs and everyone else who is so angry at this time is because we all feel like the government is not listening. And like they're not listening with understanding. But let's go back to the family. Are we listening with understanding? One of the things that I find quite common in my therapy room is that the young people at the university tell me, my parents don't understand me. And when you want to explore further and find out, what do you mean by your parents don't understand me? The next thing they say, my parents don't even listen to me. And the next thing they will say is my parents are not even available. Why are we not listening to our children? Why are we not listening to our spouses when they speak? Where are we when our children need us? Where are we when our spouses need us? When our parents need us? When our sisters and our brothers need us? Where are we? And I know we are all so busy because we want to get to that corner office. Like, who doesn't want to get to the corner office for those of us who are employed? And I know we are so busy trying to make sure that your bank statements look good and you're living well. And we are so consumed to giving our children material things and providing for them material things and denying them the only one thing that matters the most, which is the second major issue: family time. We can be everywhere else except at home. And we are comfortable and we are happy being out there. Sadly, we are so happy outside there, except at home. What happened that our homes are places characterized with misery, anger, resentment? There's no love. Why is it that as parents, when you come home from work in the evening, the children all run to their rooms, they are all on their gadgets, and they are not willing to sit with us? And one of the things they will tell you is because you've not been there, so you don't know me. So what is there for us to talk about now? And I know some of us, even as we sit here in this sanctuary today, when you go home and to visit your parents, after the niceties of the rain, the politics, I don't know who and what, and the cows and the goats and everything else, there's absolutely nothing else to talk about with your parents. Reason being, you don't know each other. You've not been there. You don't have a relationship. So what do we need to do? We need to get back home. We need to build strong families. We need to build resilience. We need to have children who are resilient, that they can face anything and everything. Do we have routines? Do we have things? Do we have activities that keep us together as a family? I know I have visited homes where people have a dining table, but no one ever sits there, because people hardly ever spend time together. They hardly ever even share a meal together. You wake up in the morning, you grab your breakfast, and you leave. You come home in the evening, whoever came earlier, they eat at their own time, and people just continue to eat as they come in. But we don't have shared family meals. When we are at home, what are we doing? We are all on our gadgets, communicating a lot with everyone else outside the family. We are seated there, you're a couple, you're on your phone, and the other person is on their phone, and their children are hanging around there, and they all are on their gadget, and no one is talking to the other. And then you realize, oh, this one is laughing so loud, they just burst out laughing. And who are they talking to? Not us in the house, but other people. And so we begin to build a conversation about people's conversation with external people, but not conversations around our family. And that's where we miss it, because we don't talk about us, we don't talk about ourselves, we talk about other people. We need to go back and find out, what are the hobbies, what are the activities that we can do together that keep us connected as a family. I'm encouraging men, take your sons out, go and talk to them. When you go to the car wash, don't leave them in the house, tag them along. As you're driving and they're excited about cars, you get a moment to ask them, how are you doing? And they will tell you. As the mothers, when we are doing shopping, let's take our daughters out. Let's have dates with our children. Let's have moments with our children where we are catching up with them and finding out what is happening. Let's have time with our spouses. Just let's create interest to find out, how is the other person doing? I always say, when you ask me, Magret, how are you doing? I'll say, I'm fine. If you really want to know how I'm doing, you're going to ask me the second time, Magret, how are you truly doing? The second time, it sinks, and they'll tell you how they are doing. But you will only get to do that if you have time. Take your children with you when you are running errands. Take your children with you. They've been home for a whole 1 week for midterm. Did you have time? Was the only conversation this week about the protest? Or was there a conversation about how did the first half of the school? What happened? What are the challenges? What are the struggles? Children will open up to their parents, and they're struggling with their mental health. There's a lot of bullying happening in school. They come home with a lot of anger. We are seeing a lot more children who who are engaging in self-harm. They are cutting their wrists. They can open up to me as a psychologist. Why not you as a mother? Ask yourself that. Why are they not telling you? Why are they not opening up to you as a father who is supposed to be the symbol of safety and security for that family? Why is it that they don't trust you, but they trust their peers? It's because their peers listen with understanding, and they listen with empathy, and they listen to give a solution. As to whether the solution is the right one or not, it doesn't matter, but they do listen, and that's the difference. Let's find things that we can do together. Let's get out of our homes. It's too much. We are constantly connected. Every home has a Wi-Fi. Everyone is busy. There's a TV. There's just so much happening that we never get to relax our brains and to disconnect. And I want to encourage all of you. That hike to Kilimambogo, please don't miss out. And tag along your children. You need to disconnect from the noise in the environment so that you can take care of your mental health. Disconnect so that you can reconnect. Family time. If you need to be in your children's memories tomorrow, we have to be present in their lives today. You cannot be there tomorrow if you're not present today, because they'll have absolutely nothing to remember. So if we need to create memories, let's be present. And the third thing is family conflicts. What are we fighting about? Why are homes hostile? I hear this a lot from the young guys. They shout at me, they demean me, they're ruining my mental health. I hear this a lot. My parents are toxic. Home is a toxic environment. I used to wonder, why do I see young people in campus from 6:15 to about 6:30? So I used to wonder, what are these guys doing here watching TV this early? Like, how does a young adult wake up so early to come and watch TV in school? There must be something. So when I wanted to I sought to find out from them, why are you here so early in the morning? And some of them said, I just want to get away from that house as early as I possibly can. And I realized, wait a minute, you mean the university is a safer space for them than at home, where the symbol of safety and security are the parents. We are fighting about money. We are fighting about how we parent. We are fighting about politics. We are fighting about so many things. Can we learn to be families that strive to resolve conflicts in an amicable way? Because even Corinthians, Paul again reminds us that love is patient. Love is kind. It doesn't envy. It doesn't boast. It does not dishonor. And love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. Let's go back. Let's face ourselves. If we practice love for one another at the family level, loving people unconditionally, they'll come to us when they're in trouble. They'll come to us when they're looking for someone to talk to, even your siblings. What does that mean? We will have fewer families who are struggling with their mental health. And the last of the issues, family values and virtues. What are we teaching? What's our language like? What is the seed that we are planting in our children? Is it the seed of hopelessness? Is it the seed of faith? Is it the seed of resilience that they can survive anything that they meet out there? What are we teaching them? What are the do's and the don'ts at home? Why is it that we are becoming a population that is, increasing in their low tolerance to frustrating situations? We are so impatient. We are becoming an angry population. We are a ticking time bomb. Let's go back and ask ourselves, what guides our families? What's the ethos? What are those values? Proverbs reminds us, train up a child in the way he should go. And when they grow, they will not depart from it. What are we training our children? I mean, you've seen this week videos doing round of young children using very age-inappropriate language. And for me, for once, I was like, wait, a parent sat and recorded this child and did not stop that recording to correct that language right there and then? So if they can say this in front of a parent, what stops them from saying it at work, in school, with the teachers, and with everyone else? What are the values? Deuteronomy 11:18-19 reminds us, fix these words of mine in your hearts and minds. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Teach them to your children, talking to them when you sit at home, when you're walking along the road, when you lie down, and when you get up. Teach them. Fix them. This is the only opportunity we have with our young ones. But you know why we are not doing what Deuteronomy is telling us? Number one, we don't communicate. Number two, we are not available. Number three, our homes are not grounded on values. We don't have virtues. We are not teaching. We are talking about family love and unity. We are talking about getting together. When family members are united, they can face any challenge. They can deal with anything where there is unity because there is strength. Where there is unity, we appreciate everyone's strength and everyone will come and offer support. But where there is no unity, there is no love, because you can have unity without love. Families can survive. Unity in the family also provides a stable foundation for children to grow, to thrive, to develop, and to be their best that they can be. But you know what is happening? There's no compassion at the family level. We are not compassionate about what other family members are going through and their struggles. Let's learn to be people who are compassionate. Family is not only about blood. It's the people in your life who want you in theirs, the ones who accept you for who you are, the ones that do anything to see you smile, be happy, excel, thrive. Family is not defined by genes. It's not just because we are biologically related. Family is built and maintained through love. We could be together, connected by genes, but if that family is going to be maintained, it's through love. If that family is going to be healthy, it's through love. So what can we quickly do to increase and maintain family wellness? One, let's learn to be patient, tolerant, considerate, compassionate, and kind and sensitive to one another. Let's go back and practice the fruit of the Spirit. Let's extend kindness and compassion. Let's remember that one moment of weakness in a family, because someone is sick, because someone is struggling with their mental health, because a child is not following the way that we thought they should be following, a child is derailed in their academic, a child was influenced negatively and is in drugs and all that. Let's remember that that one moment of weakness does not necessarily define who you are as a family. And that one moment of weakness does not and should not dim, put off the light of the family strength. Let's stop amplifying that which is not working in our family. Let us amplify what is working. And that is why we are reminded, remember to count your blessings. Because when I count my blessings, I will forget what I don't have. Let's stop talking negatively about our family. There's nothing, absolutely nothing cool about you going to expose your family and their areas of weakness. We shouldn't be doing that. We should be bringing out the best and the strength, even as we strive to deal with the weaknesses. Let's strive to make our homes safe and secure for every single family member, safe and secure, that they can come to talk to us about their struggles, that they trust that if they come and talk to us, they will also get the help. Because it's one thing to talk, but it's also another thing to trust and have hope and faith that they actually are going to help us. Can our homes be the havens of peace, that everyone looks forward to coming home in the evening? And when we do that, we will be maintaining family wellness. And finally, let's talk about, can Christ, and we invite Christ to be the center of everything that we do in our families. What are we talking about? Christ-led families. Not our power, not our mighty, not our positions, not our careers, not how well we are doing as families financially, but Christ-led families. Other things may change us, but let me tell you, our life, you started your life on this earth in a family, and you will end your life the minute you breathe your last. You will still be connected to a family. So if we started with a family, and if we are going to end connected to a family, why don't we then make sure that for the season and the period I am in this family, I am thriving and I am enjoying, and that we are relating well, and that we are all healthy, because this is where I started and this is where I'll end it. Can we take care to make sure that this interim season, even as we come to the ending, that it's going to be a good ending? Family is not just important. Family is everything. Everything that you can ever think about is family. Your work can go, your business can close, people and friends can walk away, but you know what? The last thing, and the only few people who will stick with you, are your family members. Let's take care of them. Let's love them. Let's build them. Let's encourage. Let's listen to them. Let's mind their mental wellness. And from me, my prayer for you is that may the Lord God guide you. May he shower his blessings upon you and your children, that your children are going to thrive and that they are going to stand strong, that every member of your family will live to see the goodness of God in their lives, and the Lord's promises coming to pass. And my prayer is that our families, good health is our portion. Mental illness is not our portion. And I pray that our families, we will live to love each other and to care for each other so much that We will now look forward to coming home in the evening, because I'm coming to the greatest and the dearest of the people around me. May the Lord God hold you together as a family, so that when people see you, they see God in your family, and they see the work of God in your family. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.